Welcome to the Eagle Eye Podcast. The #1 show to bring you all things Club America and English.
Oh, what a strike! Club America!
Your hosts for today are Ivan Pineda, Cristian Rosendo, Alexis Juarez, and everyone's favorite cowboy, Dylan Jimenez. Go! Now let's hit the field and start the show. America!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Eagle Eye Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking all things Lady Aguilas today. We're going to be recapping that 2-1 defeat against Atlas Femenil, and we'll talk a little bit more about that game and as to why we feel nothing but pain after that. And then, of course, we got all the latest news in regards to injury updates, everything going on in and around the world of Coapa for our ladies, and we'll give you guys a preview for the upcoming match against FC Juarez on Monday. But before I go any further today, let me introduce my co-host for today. It is none other than Brooklyn's very own AJ. AJ, my friend, how are you?
Doing good despite, the painful defeat to Atlas. I've been pretty good. I got to drive in my car for like the first time in a while. Took my mom and dad to go get some tacos, and tacos were great. So I'm in a good mood.
Awesome. Well, glad that you were able to go out for a little bit of a joyride. Got to clear your head, got to get some good fuel, and ready to talk all things Lady Aguilas here. All right, AJ, might as well just jump into it right away and peel this off just like a Band-Aid. Talk about America Femenil going up against Atlas. We were very hopeful of this game coming into this one, although we knew we had a bit of an injury. We knew Atlas also had some players that they were going to be missing, so this was the perfect opportunity to stamp some authority in the beginning of the season. But as the result has it, America does not end up getting all 3 points. Whilst we did have a very good first half, it seems that the second half was just a total misconception of what the first one was. And then, of course, because of it, well, look at where we are right now, AJ. Winless, win 2021. What went wrong for the ladies? Talk to me a little bit more about this game as a whole, and we'll dive deep into kind of the the more peculiar things that happened throughout that match, like that terrible chip that eventually ends up beating Renata Macerelli from 45 yards out. I'll have a little bit more to talk about in that aspect. But AJ, talk to me as a whole, this game, what went wrong for America?
It's just the fact that we just don't have a system. I'm not understanding what's going on. It's like when you're missing that one crucial player in the lineup, everyone's just clueless as to what to do. It's like, when are we supposed to shoot? When are we supposed to pass? When should we challenge someone on a one-on-one? I'm not understanding. The first half actually went well for America Femenil. They were being really dominant on the ball, but the problem was they just could not get any shot or create any chances just going forward. It seemed like when we did get the ball, it's either we sent the ball way too far, our players take a second to think, should I shoot the ball? Or when they do shoot the ball, it goes way off target, not even going anywhere near the goalkeeper. Second half, just not the greatest from America Femenil, and I want to say it could be one of the games from this season. Despite it only being the first game, they want to forget about immediately, because in the 56th minute, Gascoigne did extend her hand out, which ended up becoming a penalty, clearly. Alison Gonzalez of Atlas Femenil, she easily slots it home into the back of the net, puts it 1-0 for her team. But in the 67th minute, we did get a set piece for us. Janine Farias gives an amazing long pass to Daniela Espinosa, in which connected with Daniela Espinosa's head, puts the ball into the back of the net, and makes it 1-1. Things are looking good right there as we tied the game back in. Then just 2 minutes later, Alison Gonzalez saw that golden opportunity. The gates opened right up for her and just said, I'm going to shoot this ball and see what happens. And the next thing you know, that ball was like a rainbow just going over Macherelli's head and into the back of the net, making it 2-1. We couldn't hold on to the lead for more than that. And then that would just end like that for the rest of the game, just 2-1. In the second half, we made some substitutions as well, but we just see a lot of players swap positions, which I'm just confused to why Claire started something in the first place, and then the second just immediately changed everything. I just feel like players are just all over the place.
You know what? The most frustrating thing about this game is that I think it feels like, for Cuellar at least, this was more of a preseason match rather than the first game of the season. I don't know if you get that kind of vibe, AJ.
Yeah, no, I get that kind of vibe. It's the thing I constantly mention in the chat. It's like Leonardo Correa's playing musical chairs with these players. He's like, I'm gonna just put this player here, put this player there, that player there. I'm gonna see what happens. And when you clearly see it's not working out, it's like, can we get serious just for once and put players in the preferred position? But whereas like in the game, he's kind of as if like shrugging off. It's like, we're fine at the moment. I'm like, what do you mean fine? I don't think we're fine after that horrible performance against Atlas Feminine. But yeah, this felt like a preseason game more than anything instead of just the first game of the season.
And I think that's the most frustrating thing about it. And I think we'll get into a little bit more of the details of what went wrong for this America side. But it looked like a very promising 45 minutes to begin with. I mean, we had chances. We weren't really taking advantage of them. I think there was a really good opportunity that I remember Jen kind of sky highs a chance in front of goal. A couple opportunities where Danny gets in the box, isn't really able to get a shot away. Maybe could have been a little less selfish, given the pass off. But ultimately, there was moments in this match where you thought America had the chance to capitalize, and I think I saw a lot of this on Twitter whilst I was trying to watch this game. AJ, I won't lie to you, I was at work. I was trying to do my best to make sure I don't get fired and also keep a tab on the ladies. So it was very difficult, but I was able to keep an eye on in the first 45 minutes. The second 45 were a little bit more difficult, but from what I was seeing, there was some good stuff, good promising stuff in regards to the first game, what we saw in the first half. It's just there needed to be a little bit more of a refinery when it came to, getting that last kind of touch, putting the ball in the back of the net, being a little bit more sharp with your chances. And I think the most frustrating thing about it was that you knew, AJ, you knew in the back of your head, you were like, well, we're not taking these chances. Likely are is that we're going to pay for this in the second half. And more so, we did so. Atlas came, got their opportunity via penalty, took their chance, and America then had to kind of go and show a little bit of a fight back, which they did, right? We got the goal back, and fortunately, it was very short-lived. And even after we conceded, I thought that we didn't even look like we were trying to get the draw anymore. I think it was just very much a mental aspect of it, and a lot of heads were down, and it felt like a very much defeated America side.
It's just unfortunate because it's like after just one goal, it's just like everyone just stopped playing or just know like what was the objective for the game, and that's to win the game. Obviously, they just seemed like heads were in the skies, in the clouds. They just didn't know what to do after that. And I felt like the changes that Guerra made, some of them were questionable. We took Jen out for months and if I'm not mistaken. That's great, but you left in the center midfield spot essentially no one. You just had Ava Gonzalez alter herself, and she's not that kind of midfielder who can create plays. She's more defensive oriented than anything. And in the beginning, our center midfielders were Ava Gonzalez and Zara Hernandez. They were all defense. They weren't the ones creating plays, so we were relying on the wings to provide the play for us. Which we had some plays. We had some nice crosses coming in from Diana Garcia. We had some plays for Jen, but it felt like Jen at times would just make her way into the midfield, and then we're just kind of just left with nothing on the right-hand side, and I was seeing in this game as well, Diana Garcia had to make her way to the other side at time, which she could play both positions, but that's kind of frustrating because then players are all over the place, and you definitely don't want that. But just, it's making my head scratch, like, what went wrong? Was it the formation that we started with? Was it the opportunities we weren't taking, which I felt like played a huge factor into this game? Could it be the substitutions like where I make later, where everyone was just swapping positions left and right? They just couldn't get themselves situated in time. But by the time that second goal happened, I feel like there was no really answer for America Feminine to get at us, really. It's just like, it's going to go for the draw, but we can't do anything. Like, that's that. It's going to stay like that 2-1. And that's the result we got at the end.
Or maybe it was just everything, AJ. Maybe it was just everything you just mentioned. All of that culminating to a terrible, terrible showcasing in front. I was going to say in front of our fans, but of course no fans whatsoever. But in front of the America Aguila, poor Agui had to witness all of this in his own backyard. But I don't know. I think the fact that we had no structure, AJ. I mean, you just mentioned it yourself. There was moments in time where Jen was shifting towards the middle. We didn't have really a right midfielder. There wasn't really that cohesiveness within the midfield, and you kind of felt that, okay, if there's no real understanding there, then how do we pretend to make anything happen up front? And how do we even expect to stop Atlas if there's just lots of gaps in between for them to exploit? And so I think, credit to Atlas. They took their chances and they played a very smart game. Um, were they a little fortunate? I do think so, because if America was on, refined on their day, we would have gotten an early goal like we know these ladies love to. This is a whole different game. There's a whole different conversation we're having, AJ. Unfortunately, though, matter of the fact is that, we didn't take those chances. And now we're here sitting about a terrible game that maybe should have gone America's favor if we were a little bit more sharp. But it's just frustrating, AJ, because I think we came into this season kind of having a sense of, well, we know what we're gonna get out of Cuellar, but maybe he'll surprise us. And surprise, surprise, there is no surprise. You know, it's the same old, same old. I think me and you were having a little bit of a conversation once the lineups came out, and Jen was on the left, on the right hand side. We thought that was a little bit peculiar. She's not really known for being a winger. I mean, she does have some pace, so I would see why she was able, and she has some abilities to dribble around players. So she's more than capable of maybe playing that role, but I don't think that suits her. I think she feels more comfortable within the midfield rather than drifting wide and touching that the touchline. I don't know, AJ. What do you think? I mean, is this just a poorly planned out game by Cuellar?
It's a poorly planned out game, no doubt about it. It just seemed like as if he was clueless. And I mentioned before, we don't really have a system. You take Monse Hernandez out of the wing, we have no idea what we're doing on the pitch. That sounds hard, but I feel like that's the honest truth. We don't have a system. We don't know what we're going to do. There's times we will get the ball, we go up into the opposition's box or approaching it. It's like, okay, what's next? What we're doing? There's some miscommunication. I think there was a time where Gascoigne, I think, was going to pass the ball to Donnie. The ball goes way further than expected. Donnie's like having her hands up, like, what pass was that? Or the same thing if Donnie was trying to pass it to Gas, like, where's that ball go at? It's like you're going up there, but without a plan. And it's frustrating because we're clueless to what to do with the ball. When it's not the game of pass the Monse, go up the wings, cross the ball, hope if it's Donnie or Gas there to just head the ball back into the net. When you don't have that plan, it's like, let's try to figure it out. But that's the problem. You should not be able to figure it out from the first minute. You should already have a game plan set from the get-go for the manager himself. And I feel like Greg just had no clue what to do, which brings us to the point. Musical chairs. There's some players where I'm like, can you stop putting them in there, please? They don't belong there. And some that were supposed to play in the position they're supposed to play, they did not perform. Look at Gascoigne in that game. I don't really think she had a touch or a shot at any moment in time in that game. I even forgot, it's like, wait, is Donnie the only one up front? I was like, oh no, there's Scott up front. She just is unable to do anything. And that's strange because she's originally a forward. She's usually playing as a center attack man. The one time we get to see her play as a forward along with Donnie, nothing happened. It's essentially was just Donnie was all by herself trying to do everything. And that's really frustrating because she's given opportunities to score goals, but she thinks either way too late to either make the pass or shoot the ball, whatever. It's like, yes, you have the ball, but you need to decide what you gotta do with it from the get-go. You have that ball and you're gonna shoot it, go for it. Don't even think about a second later about it. I'm just shocked, really, just from Cuellar and just from the team. It's abysmal, honestly.
It really is. I think that we obviously did not get Gas. Betsy played that game. It was Betsy who showed up. I don't know why her name is Betsy in the league registration, but then it's Gas for the rest of like the team. It's very confusing, AJ. But Betsy showed up. Cassandra did not. Let's hope Cassandra does show up against Juarez though. But yeah, I think you mentioned it right. There were some players that had a very subpar a match for my liking. Gas is definitely one. I think Dani, even though she gets her goal, maybe should have done more. Are the ghosts of Monterrey still haunting her? That's a question to be asked and to be seen throughout the season. I think she has a lot to kind of make up for in regards to that game. Jen, I didn't feel maybe it was a position that she had to play, but I didn't really think she lived up to this game. Just really overall, no one really had a good game, in my opinion. I mean, not even Renata Mascherelli. And might as well just start here before I ask you as to who actually had a good game. And I have a very peculiar question in regards to that. But what are your thoughts about Renata Masciarelli here, AJ? Are these kind of sophomore nerves here? I mean, she had a very good kind of like, it's not her freshman year, but it is kind of in a sense her first season in goal last season when we see her step up. And then now she's kind of having to do that second year sophomore. Is she going to have that kind of like sophomore slump in a sense? Or do you think she'll be able to pick it up? What went wrong in this game for her?
I think it's just from that second goal right there because I feel like, I don't know if it's something with America Femini goalkeeper, they just seem to just like to just extend out of the box a bit, like by a couple inches or centimeters. I'm like, no, just stay put. You never know where that ball is going to end up. And you saw I go from Alison Gonzalez. I looked at that and I'm like, she definitely went a bit too far ahead. And I'm like, you should have not have done that.
But the peculiar thing about this is that it was foreshadowed earlier in the game. Like you even uploaded a GIF of the ball hitting the top of the post. Like it looked like they were trying to get her, and eventually they ended up they ended up catching her off guard. I don't know. If you ask me, it's one of the most frustrating goals to ever concede, especially from a goalkeeper's perspective. It's like that should not be happening. That is 45 yards out, AJ. 45 yards out. You guys should not be caught sleeping. And even if you are, my goodness, you better shuffle those feet faster than you've ever shuffled before to get into the position to catch that ball. Man, that is a catching ball. There's no need to dive or extend yourself. It's like, okay, take 1, 2, 3, 4 steps back. Okay, boom, my ball.
But it's more difficult than you think it is because, like, okay.
No, AJ, it's not because I play the position. I know what it is. I know it's easy.
There's a height disadvantage in this league. You got most goalies coming in at 5'3", 5'4", 5'5". A lot of goals in this.
That's why you got to be smarter than
they're going top, but they're going top bins. You're not going to see that.
That's not top bins, AJ.
That's going right up top. You cannot tell if that ball is going over the post
back, and it's all yours.
You cannot tell if it's going over the post. It's going to hit the post itself, or it's going to literally go right over your head and go in. There's not much
goalkeeper,
you know. You can touch the ball.
AJ. As a goalkeeper,
and still
you know these things, AJ. As a goalkeeper, you are taught this. And Masciarelli's not been a goalkeeper for 2 years. No, she's been here. She's been in goal for long enough to understand that, oh, man, I should really not be getting beat 45 yards out. I got to take 1, 2, 3, 4 steps back. Okay, boom, it's my ball.
Dude, there's countless goals. There's like the example, like the one from Maslan Querétaro. That ball went top bins. That goalie had a high disadvantage. There's none you can do. You can get the ball. Yes, that's with one hand. But that ball's going in already because by that time you realize, oh, that's going top bins. You can't not dive for it because you should have been diving way ahead or get yourself positioned. If you're in the very middle of where the goalpost is at, you see that ball in top bins and you don't react just in time, that ball is gone. Even if you can get there. There's been countless times where goalkeepers in this league, they get a touch of the ball, but because that thing is way too up high, there's not much they can do. Yes, I understand you could see that ball from a mile out, but then there's the idea too. If you're caught off position, that's it. You're done for.
But that's what I'm alluding to, AJ. Positioning was not good for her.
Yeah, but that's unfortunate. Yes, I know that.
That's unfortunate. Her fault. That's her fault, though. You can't sit here and tell me that's not her fault.
Dude, she tried at that point. Yes, just a centimeter, not to say like an inch, but a couple centimeters off. But then she tried to get her hand of the ball. I thought she was actually gonna get the little tap to hopefully make the ball hit that post. But dude, that's like one of the things in this league. Long shots at this point, it's common. You see golazos in this league layout that coming from like 30 meters or 45 meters out at times, just because these players just know where they're gonna hit that ball. It's top bins or anywhere high, because they know those goalies are not gonna save it. If it's up front, that could have maybe been a different story. I'm sure she's confident enough to just slide the ball and get it. But at that meter out, it's at this rate, I consider in this league, it's a 50-50. You go for a long shot like that, take your chances. That could actually go in. And then sometimes the defense have no idea they can't do anything about it. Man,
All I'm saying is, if I'm the goalkeeper coach and I see that go in, I'm already thinking, okay, what is her punishment going to be for this week? Because that is ridiculous. Yeah, you cannot get beat up like that.
homie, you said to put in JD, and I immediately said, so you want to score, you want to concede as many goals as that. Okay. That's
I don't
that
think
at this
JD makes
point.
that mistake. But hey, we're not here to discuss that. We're here to discuss what actually happened. And I mean, it's just unfortunate because, like, I tuned in right as Atlas got the ball for that play. And I was like, oh, we leveled this up. We're good. We might have a fighting chance. And then I see her like pick her head up, and I was like, what is this girl doing? And then I see her like take the wild effort. I was like, nah, there's no way. Like, it's Renata. And then I was like, oh my god, it went in.
You see, if I screenshot that moment where Addison Gonzalez took the shot, you can put it under the caption: "Football images that precede unfortunate events." Context: Addison Gonzalez scored from that far out.
It's terrible. Point is, what I'm saying, AJ, is it can't ever happen again. Can we both agree on that?
Yes, just
Can we both
please.
just agree that our goalkeeper should never be beat out from 45 yards out?
I feel like yes, and I feel, but like no matter what goal you put in this team for America Femini, it just seems like they have a position problem, just cannot stay put. Whether it's Heidi Gonzalez, whether it's JD, whether it's Anata Machete, they just seem to be out. And I'm like, no, just stay put. If you stay right there, we're all good. I'm not a professional. I'm not a goalkeeper. I mean, I play just with my friends because no one else ever wants to be the goalkeeper for just having free kicks, but just someone just stay in that box. Don't go out if you feel like it's not a necessity to. If there's no necessary reason for you to like go up front, you need to clear the ball out. Just off and stay there. They could. I felt like she did stay put. Maybe she just got the tap the ball like she usually does. Do one of her amazing saves and get that ball over the bar, and maybe could have stayed 1-1 at that point. But it is what it is. I think
a hot take. Cecilia Santiago does not concede that goal.
Nah, she doesn't. I honestly would even say she's probably the best goalkeeper America Family has had in their entire club's history. Yes, it's been a short time, only 4 years, but yes, she's no doubt she's the best goalkeeper to ever play on that team. Especially look where she's at now. She's in Europe. She gets play time from time to time, and she proves to why she got that move there.
Shout out to Cecilia Santiago, of course. I don't think she listens to us, but just in case she does, shout out to you. I think she could agree with me that there was some position mistakes right there that maybe should have never have happened. But regardless of the matter of fact, AJ, it happened. I just want to bring it up because Renata was having such a good season, and we had such high hopes for this one. And then, like, it starts off with a little bit of a bitter taste, right? Because she gets conceded like that. But who knows? I do think that she'll start against Juarez, and I mean, Juarez technically shouldn't have a chance from 45 yards out. But if they do, hopefully she can mend her mistake, right? Mm-hmm. Hopefully she can. Let's talk a little bit something about more positive here, AJ. I don't want to dwell too much on the negatives, but what were your thoughts on Janely Farias?
Janely Farias looked really solid. Just I felt like there was a nice addition into the center back role. She's got experience. She's played in the Liga MX before. She knows what she has to do, knows her position, played for La Selección Nacional for the women's team at the professional level. And she's just all around. It feels great. Though there still is trying to figure out just who can be our definite starting center back, like who can be the duo. And I feel like the answer I already have in the top of my head. It's going to be Janely Farias and Justin Orhead. They're both center backs. Good friends on and off the pitch. They got the communication, all the good vibes. And Farias did great. And look at what she did. For a long cross to Daniela Espinosa. She headed home. That's her first assist in the season. And she gave Daniela Espinosa her first goal of the season, too. We get to see more plays like that from Janely Farias. She, no doubt, I'd say one of the best center backs in the league at this point, considering you're playing for a top team as well. She continues having performances like that. Be a great signing.
And I think it's interesting to note here that the two goals that we can see are in no way the defense's fault, right? I mean, obviously
that's actually surprising.
Yeah, this is obviously the penalty that's conceded is because of the handball, and then obviously the ridiculous 45-yard out pass that. Again, we won't get into it, but none of them are to be faulted either for either the center backs that played, right? So I think it's a positive note on Farias. It's like, hey, you got an assist, you had some pretty good showcasing, and the goals weren't because of your department. So looking pretty promising. Looking pretty promising. Not to say that we're happy that for whatever reason we're trying to paint it a different way. We're not, but it's promising to see that Farias is coming in pretty good. And now you like you mentioned AJ. Question is, how are they going to look in regards to her alongside Jocelyn Orejel? It will be interesting. It definitely will be. What you have more news in regards to Jocelyn later on in the episode. That'd be an interesting thing to know. But AJ, anything else that we need to dissect from this game that we haven't done so already?
Just some stats to just go over just to see like how America were kind of at a disadvantage despite them looking good in the first half. They only had 3 shots this entire game, with the 1 goal coming from Dani Espinosa. Only 30% possession and 3 corners. At the Spain, on the hand, they had 4 shots. They had 2 goals, 62% possession, and 1 corner. At best, they just beat the most out of their opportunities. Really, they were being smart. America, on the other hand, well, we should have had more shots than Tara, but it's either we gave a through ball way too far ahead, or we just thought too soon, or we just thought way too late on whether we want to take the shot or not. So that's just some stats right there. And I want to give credit to Diana Garcia, who made her debut for America Femenil. And I'd say she was one of the, I'd say if we had to talk about some of the players that did well, my opinion, it had to go for her. For being just one of the new players in this team, she did everything she had to do. She provided some crosses. She drew a couple of fouls to get her team set pieces. Really good. So,
all right, not bad. I mean, overall, at the end of the day, it's not the start that we want, but it's not to say that it's the end of the world. It's the first game, and as true America fans, I think everyone likes to overreact and say that this is the worst start ever, and we got to change everything, which I do think that it might be a time for a new manager. But again, we're not going to get into that discussion right now because the results don't really point in that direction just yet. Hopefully they never do, AJ. Hopefully he's able to turn it around, and hopefully this is the only game we ever lose in the season, right? I mean, optimistic we can be, right? Realistic is really what we have to be at the end of the day, but got to look over the horizon and say there's a pretty good, decent chance that we're going to finish off pretty well. Question is, does Cuellar have the ability to make this team do that, and will the players respond, and will we ever get a system? I don't think we will. I think we're just going to go out there blindly every game. And yeah, it's like playing Russian roulette, but soccer edition. And this time, the first game is the very first game when we had the bullet. So not a promising start, but it should be better. Hopefully, should get better, right? We have Juarez. No discredit to them, but at home, you look at both of the squads and you're saying, okay, America should win this. Will they? We'll talk about that in just a second. But all right, AJ, talk to me more about news in regards in the world of Coapa. I know you have some injury updates. You have just some Jocelyn Orejel news. What's up in the world of Jocelyn Orejel? Anything else in regards to these ladies? Please let us know everything going on.
So first things off, Jocelyn Orejel, she did get discharged from her surgery on her left toe, so she's expected to be back 2 to 3 weeks. So we've been missing her for a couple games. Vero Perez, I did not mention this from the last episode. It was back in January when Adriana Teresa, she told me from a press conference that where had that Vero Perez, that she's slowly getting back into the rhythm of things with the team in training. So expected to be back in at least 3 weeks. But since that news was from January 7th, it's already been past a week. So by at least 2 weeks, she should be integrated into training again and get all the team. Jimena Rios, considering that Cuellar did mention there were 3 players that are injured, I'd assume she'd still be one, because considering Jimena Rios was nowhere to be seen on the bench. I'd like to assume in about maybe 2 weeks or so, she should get things back going, or maybe in a week, who knows. Some good news is Mayra Pelayo and Daniela Frost are now registered on the team's website. So expected to see make their debuts, who knows, against FC Juarez most likely, or they could be on the bench, which is good things to see. Though players are still missing, like Fernanda Pina. She's still not registered on the team yet because she's trying to get the visa and all that. So by then, maybe by next week or so, you can get things rolling with the new reforces that we make to the team. And just one player is still out. We know who this player is in particular, so they are asymptomatic but show no kind of symptoms, but just being watched as time is going on.
Okay, nice of an update right there. So you're telling me that Danny Flo is what she was referred to over here in LA is good to go then for Juarez.
Looks like it. She's registered, and she does. Can't wait to see her play. She's gonna be the player to stand out, not only because of her amazing blue hair, which I love from the get go. Is like I dig it, I like it, but her goal scoring abilities because I did remember looking up some website where she had some stats. I think from high school. I'm pretty sure it was her. She had good stats. I know that's high school, but hey, that could be a things to come for her playing as a forward. Can't wait to see her play. Remember, she did also went to the United States Women National Team training camps. I think it was for the U17. I think it was a U18. So that's some good things to see right there too. So can't wait to see her get on the pitch, score some goals.
Definitely, and she's loving every second at America. You follow her on social media and her stories. It's always like living the dream and this and that. She really loves being at America. Well, at least in the meantime, right? I think she hasn't experienced Goyard to the fullest yet. Maybe she'll be heading for the hills after a season. I hope not. But no, she's looking like a very promising player. I mean, I spoke to someone who kind of has not personally seen her all the time, but has heard good stuff about her as well. Seems to be a very good impact sub. Will she be that for America, or will she be able to cement herself as a starting player? We'll have to wait and see. But yes, if you guys don't know who she is, you will soon, very, very soon, because she's the girl with the blue hair, which I think, like you mentioned, AJ, is awesome, and it's gonna make our life so much easier trying to figure out where she's on the pitch.
Makes it easier for me. So in case I have to watch some bootleg stream and it's so blurry, if I see some hint of blue, it's like, okay, that's Danny Flo. I know who that is. Easy.
All right. Well, good to know, AJ. Well, that pretty much wraps up the news in regards to the world of Club America Femenil in and around Coapa. Some injury updates, of course. We're still going to be missing a couple players for the upcoming matches against Juarez and after that as well. But it looks promising afterwards, AJ. If we can keep a healthy squad after that, I think we should be in a promising position.
Yep, no doubt about it. It's nice because Guerrero did mention in a press conference as well that we're kind of set back like a week at least because due to COVID and injuries. But that's some good things to hear. He's saying like we're at a disadvantage simply because of this. No other reason whatsoever. That's good. So it feels like so what I'm hearing from this. Once we get all of our players back, we'll be back to the same team we're competing, going for wins, and showing to the league why they should fear us.
Hopefully that's true. All right, and then AJ, well, we got one last thing to do before we wrap up the show, and that is previewing the game against FC Juarez. This should be an interesting one. But before we do so, I do want to remind people that today's episode is brought to you by Foot Cult. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys go check Foot Cult out at footcult.com. They have some amazing stuff. They have some amazing gear. And they have some cool Eagle Eye podcast training tops that you guys can purchase. So if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys get yourselves one. Again, if you guys like any of the stuff, any of their product, you guys can use discount code EEP at checkout to get 10% off. Again, that is discount code EEP at checkout to get 10% off. And you guys can be part of the cult. I know that sounds a little bit sketchy, but trust me, this is the one cult you want to be part of. Okay? So, yeah, make sure you guys go use discount code EEP at checkout. And then if you guys have a screenshot or maybe send us a DM of your receipt, we are going to be entering you guys in something really special for this end of the year that we have in store planned for something that is going to be solely dedicated for the listeners, for the viewers, and it should be something interesting. So if you are making yourself a part of the cult, then you are edging yourself closer to being part of that. Again, thank you so much for your support, and thank you again to our sponsors, Foot Cult, for this opportunity. All right, AJ, let's talk and preview America versus Juarez Monday. Well, I was going to say Monday night, but no, of course. Monday in the afternoon again, right after my lunch. America Femenil is going to be playing against FC Juarez, another game that is going to be broadcasted live via TUDN here in the States. So you guys can catch that game. If for whatever reason you guys are going to be available in front of your TVs at this time, then that's great. That game is going to be at 1:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and everyone in the Central Standard Time, that is going to be at 3:45 for all of you. AJ, is this the game that finally mends the mistakes of past against Atlas and puts us in the right direction?
Yes, no doubt about it. We're going into this game 3 for 3 so far. We have never lost FC Juarez. We've won in all 3 occasions. Though the last time we did meet against FC Juarez, we've only won 1-0. And as well, FC Juarez looked kind of scary in that game too. We gave them more opportunities they were supposed to get, especially from the talk from Hugo Ruiz, who was the manager at that time due to Cuellar being out due to COVID. He did say that we were giving them way more opportunities than we are supposed to. But considering, we got Cuellar back at the helm, it's against FC Juarez, playing them for the 4th time. It should be a whole complete new ball game. And considering how FC Juarez are not looking so hot into the same after coming to a 2-0 defeat against Chivas Femenil, who FC Juarez had a 21% possession rate, this should be some good news for us, and this should be the way for us to get back into the groove of things. The most we ever scored against the team was 3 goals, and that was the same game where not the measure rate started in that game. So this is some good stats coming into this match.
This has to be the game where we just score an early goal and the floodgates open, and we're talking about like a 5 to 8-0 result, right? That's what I'm trying to allude to, AJ.
I would love that. We did that to Mazatán and Necaxa next season. FC Juarez can be the next victim.
Let's go. I'm all for that. Again, no discredit to any FC Juarez fans out there or any of their players that they have, but I think this is definitely got to be a showcase of America and America only. You're at your house. I mean, you just came off a pretty poor result against Atlas, and you didn't have the best showcasing. So if you're, looking to kind of take that little espinita off, then this is the perfect opportunity. You can kind of amend for all your errors in the previous game in this one. I'm looking at you, Dani Espinosa, specifically at you. I'm thinking that this is a game where if she can bag herself 1, 2, hey, maybe even 3 goals, then maybe we're looking at this game as, okay, this isn't looking so bad. We're looking a little bit better. Maybe we did have a little bit of the jitters in the first game. I don't know. I'm curious. First of all, I want to know what starting 11 are we going to have, AJ? I know we say we don't have a style, but do we at least have a formation?
Mm-hmm. So what I'm expecting is Juarez is going to go back to that 4-4-2 this time, and I got as our starting goalkeeper Renata Mascherelli. Our back four consists of Selena Valera, Ana Gavi, Janelle Farias, and Monica Rodriguez. Our midfields can be consisted of on the left mid side, Diana Garcia. Our 2 ECMs are going to be Eva Gonzalez and Jen Munoz. Our right midfielder, I'm going to actually have Mara Pelayo making her debut into this match, and then our 2 forwards, I'm going to give it to Dani Espinosa and Dalia Molina for this game.
Dalia Molina getting the start. I know you're a big fan. I know I am as well. So hopefully she comes in and does some really good stuff. But no Monse and Hernandez?
I simply put that just because, last game she did have to sub in the second half. So that makes me think I don't think she's fully prepared to start just yet because, last season she did happen to pick up an injury, which did not see her start as many games. Well, she did get starts, but she wasn't last the full 90. She'd get subbed out within the 60 or the 70th minute mark. So I guess, it's again a team like FC Juarez, but no discredit to them. Anything can happen in this game. I feel like if things are not having to work out on the left-hand side of the field, just slot Munson right in, get some crosses going in, and see what we can do from there. So yeah, and if you saw, as I mentioned, there's no Casquez. I feel like the game she had against Atlas, I think it's one of those games like, let's give her a break. It's fine. It's her first time playing in the striker position in quite some time since you've been playing at the CM the entire time. Just in case, if we need that power off of the bench to get some goal scoring or just a player just capable of getting on one-on-ones, you can put Cascoes in at any point. So I feel like give them deserved rest. It's only the second game of the season. There's no rush. We don't need to go all out on a team just yet.
I would much rather they bring in Dani Flores.
I could see that actually happening too. Give the players who recently got registered a debut. Who knows? Maybe we won't see that. Maybe we could probably see Dani Flores go right in there.
Yes, give Miss Blue Hair the shot. Or is it teal? I'm not too sure. But still.
I contemplated that actually. I was thinking, is it blue? Is it teal? Is it this different shade of blue? It's I'm trying to figure out just so no one doesn't call me no, that's wrong. It's this color. It's okay, I got you. I learned from my mistake.
Aqua shade number 3. I don't know, to be honest. Really, only she would know. But I think we have a pretty good formation here. I think we have a pretty good lineup. What are we gonna play at, AJ? I have no idea. I don't even think the players know at this point. I think that's the real frustrating thing about it is you can't send 11 players out there and just be like, hey, all right, well then, good luck, and I'll be on the bench. Like that can't be the message, right? Because I feel like that's the message sometimes. I feel like Cuellar has an understanding of what he wants to do, but does he really know how to convey it onto his players? Is my question.
So, like, here's the thing. Like, respect to Cuellar. This man's like the father of women's soccer in Mexico. Because he's been into this for a long time. I talked about this with Amy before, and we had a thing. We were just discussing it about like the thing with Cuellar. It's like he knows what he's doing, but it feels like it's just there's like poor execution out on the pitch. On paper, you're like, this looks great. When we see on the pitch, it's like, what's going on? Like, why can we not get nothing going? And then she mentioned a point which does kind of worry me. It's like America Femenil, it's early in the season, I know, but I feel like it could get at a point where this will be known as a team. You can get into the Liguilla, but you're not going to get past the quarter or the semifinal part. Just like she alluded to Pumas Femenil, where it's like they get into the playoffs consistently, but they could just never make it out of that first round every time. And that's the thing that worries me. Like, how you have a coach like Cuellar who knows a lot about women's soccer in Mexico. He's been through a lot. He's coached at many different levels in the Mexico women's national team and many different players. He knows what these players are capable of. But I just feel like it's the case, as like the term, my favorite term to use them, it's musical chairs. He just puts players in different positions where it's like, that's not their position. Don't do that. He might know more than me. Maybe he's seen them train in these different positions where they have scrimmages on practice and everyone's playing in different positions. It's good because in the game of women's soccer, a lot of players are actually flexible in various positions. Like an example at Sky Blue, Midge Purse, she's originally like a winger and a forward, but she's capable of playing as a right back. And there's other instances where you would see a striker in women's soccer. They could be even good at their height. It could be like 5'9". You would see them being slot as a left back just because of the height advantage, which that's good to have. But then it feels like if you cannot translate the skills you have on the pitch into different positions, it's just simply don't put them there. Then get someone that knows how to play that position. We saw that at halftime in the game against Atlas. We subbed Zulma Hernandez out as center defensive mid for Monica Rodriguez, who's a right back. Moni went right back. We pushed Selene Valera out of right back and put her as a left back. We had Hannah, who was playing as our left back. We just pushed up in midfield. And then we moved Jen into midfield. It's like, this is what should have been done in the first place. That's the thing that worries me with Cuellar. The players can look great on paper when you hear their name, but when you're seeing like example like Dani Espinosa playing as a winger, it's like, no, don't do that. She doesn't play it. Like the Marlene Campa situation that we talked about a lot last season. She's a forward, and where was she put out a lot? In midfield. And look how that turned up. And look where she's at now in Pumas.
Yeah. Let's not talk about her. She left. That
was pain when I saw that.
But I mean, I don't know, AJ. Should we? Okay, let me flip it on its head and ask you this: is it the players? Is it the players who just don't grasp the concept and can't really execute it? Or is it really Cuellar not being able to convey the message across clearly for the players to be able to do it? Like, I don't know. I feel like there's somewhere in the middle, something's not connecting. Something's not clicking. Either, I'm not saying only one party's at fault. I think both of them are. But I don't know. I obviously would fall more on the manager because I think it is his job to make sure that the message does come across very clearly. But you're right. This is a man who pioneered the game and who understands kind of, what these ladies have to do in order to go out there and get a good result. I don't know. I feel like something's not right here. And it's got to get fixed because if it doesn't, then I don't even know if making the playoffs is going to be enough to keep them at America.
It's frustrating because there was a lot of talks, especially after the embarrassing defeat to Rayas in the Liguilla. Everyone's like out, and he's still here. And I feel like it's the final straw for him. He has. It's pretty much. It's like you get one more strike, that's it, you're gone. But then it's in the entire conversation: who we're gonna bring into the helm to match America Femenil. And then I want to go back, man. Look. I'm afraid, and I feel like it can happen. I said as a joke, but I'm afraid it's going to happen. When Cuellar gets sacked, every fan of the Mexico Women's National League does not like his son there because this man, like Father Like Son, plays musical chairs and puts players in so many various positions. I'm afraid we're gonna get Christopher Collier. And I'm like, oh no, here we go again. I'm like, it's
Oh,
as if he never left. I seen games of the Mexico Women's National Team play with his son there, and I'm like, what are you doing with these players? Like, stop putting them in positions they're not supposed to be in. Man, it's just frustrating. And when you bring to that concept, like, whose fault is it? I want to say it's both part, but at the same time, you're the manager. You got the game plans. You got the tactics. You're telling your players around the pitch from the very first instance, the whistle's blowing, the ball is rolling. Get to work. You know what you need to do. I will call out if there are some mistakes there where it's like you're extending way too far. Back up a bit. If you could definitely get the ball, slide out, son, go for it. Don't be scared. If there's a open shot, you can just tell the player, take the shot. Don't think a second about it sooner. But it's difficult because I feel like every single game, it's like, what is he gonna do? What are the players gonna do? And it's only the first game of the season that gets fans war where it's like, can we do well for the rest of the season? It's too early to call, but it gets a lot of people working saying we've been through Cuellar since the very beginning, since this league first started with the Copa MX Femenil. Everyone's like, this man needs to go. And then he ended up winning us a title in 2018. We're like, okay, we all love him. After the season when we fail to win title, let's get him out again. It's rough. And it's tough for him because I look at him, it's like he knows his stuff, but it's like, what's going on? Why are we not doing as well as we're supposed to be? And I think with the squad that we have in this league, it should be competing up there. I think we should be getting into finals and competing against a team from the Regio, and it's not the case.
It is not, and that's the frustrating thing about it. And look, I think we've gone into a pretty far enough tangent that we probably shouldn't have gone too far into, but it is a discussion to have later on during the season, and I think we are going to keep a close eye on Cuellar and what he does tactically or what he lacks of doing tactically with these players, and maybe look at some of these players and think, are they of the caliber of America Femenil? I think it's going to have to look both ways, but of course a lot of the attention is going to be on Cuellar because he does have to transmit all of that information and make sure his players understand. But let's go talk a little bit more about this game and kind of maybe look at aspects of where America can hurt Juarez. We know that we're very good on the ball, and against a side like FC Juarez, I do believe we would hold more of the ball possession. What do you think needs to happen on the pitch for America Femenil to not just get that open, not just to get that early goal, but to get, a thrashing of a game?
It's just the idea. Just you need to just attack from the get-go. We've seen countless times again where we played against Necaxa and we just see Cascos just get the ball and just dribble across players and just easily slot the ball into the back net. I feel that's the first thing we should do. We see an open opportunity, pass that ball up front. Because with the players that we have up front, they're definitely capable of getting on a one-on-one with the goalkeeper and just slot the ball into the back of the net. I feel we shouldn't take time to accommodate ourselves, knowing that, it's always the game. It's like, all right, what we're going to do first? It should be the thing in your head. Let's score a goal immediately. Let's get the floodgates open and start getting goals in there immediately. I don't want this to be a game where we want to get FC Juarez out of the counterattack because I'm afraid if we do let that happen, they can actually score a goal and then all hell's going to break loose and the players are going to be like, what are we going to do now? Obviously, we can score a goal, but how? Because if we let a team like Juarez, I want to say no disrespect to them again, they got they made new signs this season and they look to be a good squad. I'd say they'll be up there mid-table. Don't give the team the opportunity to get a goal in there early, because if FC Juarez get a shot at any single point in the game, they're gonna make the most out of it. And like last time, it was a 1-0 win that many America Feminine fans were not satisfied with, and we let this exact same team get way more chances than we're supposed to. Limit this team to gain chances, score from the get-go, go all out on them, keep scoring goals until they cannot have an answer for America Femenil.
I like it. I like your approach. It's very direct to the point. I think that's what America Femenil needs for the most part. A very kind of direct kind of concept of, okay, gotta go out there, gotta score, gotta keep going, gotta score some more. And I think a very simple approach in that sense, and a very clear approach, definitely might help us in the long run here. But I do agree with you, AJ. I think this is a game where America Femenil has to go out there, get that early goal, make sure the floodgates open, and then completely wash FC Juarez out of the ballpark here. I do feel that FC Juarez will get maybe one or two chances. That's where I think the defense needs to tighten up as much as possible. Will be interesting to see how Janely Farias fares off against FC Juarez. Not to say that I think she'll have a lot to do, but will be interesting to see what she can maybe do on the attacking side of things rather than just the defending side. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But AJ, talk to me a little bit more in regards to your prediction on Monday's game.
I'm gonna go with the score line of 3-0 for America Family.
0. Okay. I like it. I'm gonna go 2-0. I think that we get some pretty good goals in, but I don't think that the floodgates necessarily open. But who knows? Maybe we stay here and we're talking about a 7-0 victory of America.
I would love that, please, and thank you. And may that be in Danny Flo does get some playing time, but she scored a hat trick. I'll cop her jersey immediately from the get go. She got the number 9. That's a big number you're holding, because that number 9, that's Lucero Cuevas' number, who was the former all-time leading goal scorer for America Femenil. So wearing that number, know who wore that, and you're expected to replicate the same performance that Lucero Cuevas gave us when she was at her time in America.
Okay, interesting. Well, let us know what you guys think in regards to this game, and if you guys make sure you guys want to keep up with everything in regards to Lady Aguilas and that match, you guys can follow us over on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at EY Podcast. Again, that is at EY Podcast on all social media platforms. Again, we'll be keeping you guys up to date with all things Lady Aguilas, live tweets, updates in regards to the match, graphics, podcast alerts, all that good stuff. If you guys don't want to miss a second of it, go ahead and follow us over on our social media platforms, because AJ loves to interact with all of you guys during game day.
Yes, I do.
I think that pretty much wraps it up, AJ. Anything else to really talk about in regards to the ladies?
Just one more thing. Want to give a happy birthday to America's manager Leonardo Cuellar. As much as we criticize about him, he did a lot for this team. He got us our very first title in 2018 playing against Ligas Femenil, and has gave us numerous America Femenil squads that brought a lot of excitement, lots of goals, and great moments into this team. And he has done a lot for the game of women's soccer in Mexico. So just wanted to say happy birthday to Leonardo Cuellar.
Happy birthday, Leo Cuellar. We know you're listening to this. Hashtag also Cuellar out if you don't win against FC Juarez, but that's going to be a whole different topic. Okay, so I hope you're enjoying your birthday. I hope you have a good one, and I hope that you guys get those 3 points to cap off a pretty good birthday, I would have to say. How old is he turning? 34?
He's up there in age, but the only thing he's really missing was just the nice afro he had back then when he was playing. If he still had that afro today, man.
Oh man, I think we'd let a lot of slip. A man with an afro like that coaching America Femenil, it's okay if they lose a couple games. I mean, a man's got an afro. Like, come on. Talk about managers with gray hair. I mean, Solari's got some very good Head and Shoulder commercial hair. I mean, can you imagine Leo Cuellar being like, well, yeah, can you trump this though? I got an afro. Definitely. Alrighty then. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for us here. We'll be back next week to talk things all Lady Aguilas on Thursday. Again, at the same time as always, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. And that pretty much wraps it up for us. AJ, thank you again for coming alongside. Hope you're having a good January. Hopefully February is even better for us as America Femenil fans. And keep a close eye on the ladies. Will be an interesting one.
Always will be, and thank you so much, Ivan. As always love talking everything Lady Aguilas, and for all things of Club America on the men's side.
Alrighty then, you guys. We'll be back next week, of course, on Tuesday to talk everything in regards to the men's. Again, Thursday will be for the ladies. Okay, with that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope that you guys are getting closer and closer to getting that vaccine. And I hope that you guys enjoy the match, whether it be Saturdays against Monterrey or, of course, the most important one, which is going to be Monday against FC Juarez. Again, thank you guys for, making this a possibility. Thank you to Footcall, everyone listening, everyone watching. You guys are the best. Okay, AJ, with that said, you guys have a wonderful night. Until next time, take care. And as always, Arriba la América. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was another production of the Eagle Eye Podcast, the #1 source for all things Club America in English. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Eagle Eye Podcast and get all the latest news and coverage. And subscribe to our podcast wherever it is